Değerli izleyiciler, Hannover Messe Turkey Dijital Etkinlikler Platformu, Connection Days'in Endüstriyel Otomasyon Sanayicileri Derneği ile ortak hazırlamış olduğu Endüstriyel Robot Otomasyonu ve Geleceği konferansına tekrar hoş geldiniz. Panelimizin bu bölümünde Uluslararası Robot Federasyonu, Robot Tedarikçi Komitesi Başkan Yardımcısı Sayın Bruno Schneckenburger bizlerle olmakta. Welcome, Mr. Bruno. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. So may I start?
Yes, stage is yours. Thank you very much.
Then good morning and welcome to all conference participants. A special welcome I want to give to Mr. Hasan Büyükade, the Minister from the Ministry of Industry and Technology, and to Mr. Adnan Dalgakran from McFed. And a big thank you to Enosat and the Hannover Fair Turkey and all the supporters making this conference possible. And thank you for inviting me to share with you on behalf of the Federation of International Federation of Robotics, some thoughts on the future of robotics. Before I start my actual keynote, let me briefly talk to you about the Federation of Robotics. The main function of the IFR are to provide statistical data on the worldwide use of robots, to represent the voice of the global robotics industry, and to lobby for global and national policies supporting the adoption and the wider use of robots. The lobbying and the better conditions for robotics is mostly achieved through its national robot associations. For Turkey, this is Enosat, who represents the entire Turkish automation industry within the IFR. But now, let me start with the keynote topic. I know the conference title is Industry, Robots, Automation and its Future and not its Past, but I want to spend just a bit of my time on talking about the past and the now, because I think it will help us to better understand and appreciate the recent developments and where robotics is going. I think you picked the date for this event really well, because it's been exactly 60 years since the first industrial robot were put into operation at the General Motors plant in New Jersey, USA. This robot was built by Unimation and developed by its two founders, Mr. Engelberg and Mr. Develop. And the first robot was used to take out hot metal parts from a die casting press and drop them into a cooling tank. So that was a work that was certainly dangerous and dirty and probably also dull. So these first robots were quite expensive to build, had limited functionality, and been a real challenge to operate. So not surprisingly, robotics took a slow start. This changed then dramatically during the 70s and the 80s, thanks to technical advances made in motion control, in electromechanical actuation, and the fact that hundreds of companies entered the market to build robots. So we have 60 years of industrial robot market developments, and just over the last 10 years, as you can see from this graph, the number of robots in operation globally has almost tripled. Historically, and obviously with the very first industrial robot, robots were used to build cars. Other relevant industries that went into robotics over the years are electronics, metal, plastics, chemicals, and food industry. Most of these robots are in use at larger enterprises that had the financial capacity and the technical in-house expertise needed to operate in the past those robotic systems. Even so, there are, with a global stock of 2.7 million robots, not really so many robots in operation around the globe, but robots have actually completely revolutionized manufacturing process for cars, as well as for many other products. And I think it's thanks to robots that many products today are much more affordable to many more people than would be the case without robots. As already mentioned, large enterprises and manufacturers already utilizing robots to a large degree, complementing the high volume and high cost fully automated automation solutions. But the majority of small and medium enterprises, traditional robot solutions are just not meeting the flexibility and the cost constraints that many SMEs have. Plus, are actually often too difficult to use for them, to take too much effort to redeploy to other tasks. So in the past, to invest in the robot automation was just not doable or feasible for a large portion of this medium and small enterprises. So 60 years ago, with the beginning of industrial robots, we have, I would say, just a global stock of 2.7 million. So, but what can we expect of the future of robot automation? What growth can we expect and in what areas? And what is needed that more of the small and medium enterprises that form really the backbone of the industries in or most economies will be able to benefit also from robotic automation in the future? To give you an answer to this question, I want us to take a brief look at the 4 areas I believe are relevant when assessing what developments industrial robots automation might take in the future. And these are the market trends, demographic and sociological developments, recent and current technical advances in the field of robotics, and what is essential such that more of this medium and more enterprises can benefit from advanced robot automation. So let me start with global market trends. Nowadays, more customers than ever are asking for highly customized products that have something that fits their needs very specifically. This is driving the need for more flexible production that is capable of handling the production of a single custom product, but ideally at a cost of a mass-produced products. I think the systemic shock that we all experienced during this last year when COVID-19 hit our world made us consider to possibly producing more products locally or at least near shore to have better stability and better reliability of supply. Also here, a more flexible automation is needed to produce products locally at globally competitive costs. And on the supply side, positive news, we have today a much broader offering of robots, of sensors, of robot accessories, and particularly of programming and application software, giving manufacturing businesses many more options to optimize their production processes with robot and through robot automation. Next, let us look at the quite drastic demographic changes that many societies will be facing over the next few decades. As you can see from the 2 graphs on the top here, that shows the age distribution of Japan today and that of in 30 years, there will be many more elderly people, fewer young people, and much fewer people in working age. With Japan's age distribution looks extreme, it is actually quite similar to that of most Western European countries. And even China, that you see at the bottom of this slide, even China is facing similar challenges, not just yet that extreme. Robot automation can help to increase people's productivity, so fewer people are needed in production, and to relieve them from a hard physical work, so people can work till longer age, even in physically demanding jobs. Looking at the chart in the middle that shows the age distribution of Turkey today and in 30 years, I think Turkey is not facing this problem, at least not for many years to come. But the cultural change between generations will probably also affect Turkey. People of our younger generations, Y, Z, and Alpha, have different expectations on life than people, for instance, from the baby boomer generations. More of them want to work to live rather than live to work. And it will become an increasingly challenge to motivate these younger people to do physically very demanding, dirty, dangerous, or dull jobs. On the other hand, many of these younger generations are interested in technology, grew up in the digital world and are really digital natives, quick in learning how to work with modern automation equipment. So great opportunity for all of us to motivate more of them to work in and for robotics. Thanks to the recent technical developments done by new and established robot suppliers, by component suppliers, by software companies, and by research institutes, robot automation has to offer so much more today than was the case just very few years ago. And this dynamic development is expected to continue. Today, robot producers offer ready-to-use robot cells for specific applications like this flexible mobile palletizing cells, robots with integrated machine learning and machine vision, collaborative robots that allow robots to work side by side or even hand in hand with humans, and robots that are easier to use, easier to program, and easier to put into operations. So with this ease of use and easier to set up, easier to program cobots that have been really filling a gap in the automation landscape, I put them down here, I believe they're a particular good fit for small, medium enterprises that do not have the high volume nor the capital to invest in more expensive, high-speed robot solutions. Today, most robot suppliers have focused on these ease-of-use features of their robots, when looking at today's total portfolio of robots offered in the market, the picture looks more like this. We have a real continuum of offering of collaborative and non-collaborative robots, complementing the traditional industrial robot portfolio. Robots that are easier to use, quicker to set up and to get started, easier to redeploy. Robots that fit well with the requirements and constraints of small and medium enterprises. There are over 400,000 manufacturing companies in Turkey, and over 99% of them are small and medium enterprises. And probably many of them could benefit from better quality and faster operations that robot automation solutions could really offer. So besides technology, what else is then needed such that more small and medium enterprises can and want to invest in robot automation solutions? For one, they need employees that can operate in pre-programmed robots. So robot manufacturers, education institutes, and governments should all work together to develop learning programs for employees that small and medium enterprises could not set up and run on their own. And the curricula of vocational training programs, not just those of technical engineering degrees, should include robotics programming. And second, more system integrators are needed. National industry associations like the NSZ should support the buildup of a system integrator network, as even with this simpler to use robots, some SMEs will still need the help from an integrator to build them a robot automation solution. And thirdly, and not last really, I believe government should implement programs that make it easier for small and medium enterprises to invest in robot automation, like to offer to them low interest rate bank loans for capital investments, like running super depreciation programs, that is, you can depreciate more than what you invested for the equipment. And these are programs that have been run quite successfully in the recent years, like in Italy and in France, and even go to a direct cash contribution for small, medium enterprises to support them with investment in modern automation equipment. So considering all I presented to you here during this past few minutes, I believe you will agree with me that the conclusion that the long-run perspectives for robotic automation remains excellent. And I just want to quote one sentence from the International Federation position paper on robotics and the workplace of the future here. Robot automation improves productivity and enables companies and nations to remain or to become competitive. And on a personal note, I cannot think of a reason why Turkish manufacturing enterprises would not benefit from more robot automation for the good of these companies and their employees, and in the end, for the good of the whole country and the people of Turkey. And this is, I'm convinced that even with 60 years of industrial robots behind us, the future of robot automation has really just begun. Thank you.
Mr. Bruno, thank you very much for your presentation and participation.
Thank you for having the opportunity. We much appreciate it.
Have a good day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Değerli izleyicilerimiz, panel programımız robot kullanım deneyimleri konulu oturumumuz ile devam edecektir. İyi seyirler.